معكم اسبو هنا. وبعد المهزله اللي حصلت وفضيحه النت الخايس والمكان اللي على قول واحد منكم في التعليقات حاطينهم في برحه، السبب اللي ما خلاني اسوي بث للميجر انهم رفضوا تسليم اللاعبين السعوديين كوارتز ولبدح التاشيره الى امريكا. هذا بعد ما جاء الخبر السيء حتى حق خروج اللاعب KSA واللي لحاله بعثر الفريق، فالفريق اللي راح يلعب في الميجر خلاص ما عاد صار نفسه تويستد مايندز، ما في الا يوبي السعودي، وفعلا من البدايه انهزموا مرتين 3-0 وخرجوا. لكن في الجهه الاخرى في لسه عندنا فريق ثاني سعودي اللي هو فالكونز. فريق فالكونز السعودي ما في الا لاعب واحد سعودي السير ماجد، الباقيين كلهم كوريين، حتى ما تأهلوا من بطولة إيميا حقت الشرق الأوسط وأوروبا وأفريقيا، إنما من منطقة آسيا. نعم، الفريق السعودي فالكونز صار كله تقريبا كوريين وتأهل من آسيا، يعني كأنه النصر كلهم كريستيانو رونالدو. هذه الطريقة الوحيدة اللي أقدر أشرح لكم إيش معنى كلهم كوريين. وفوق هذا معروفين وفايزين ببطولات عالمية، وحتى اللاعب اللي يعتبر جديد نسبيا بروبر على طول دخل في نفس المستوى الخارق وبدأ يخرج صفوفهم بجنجي. في سميرف اللي فعلا سميرف مختم اللعبة أكثر من 20 مرة، وهان بن التانك وسير ماجد وتشايو في الدعم. فريق اسطوري وبامكانهم بالراحه دعس انس والانتقام لتويستد مايندز اللي انمسح منهم مره ثانيه بعد خروج KSA. انا قد سويت لكم فيديو فضيحه الميجر منه راح تعرفون ايش صار هناك بالضبط، وراح اترك المعلقين يعلقون على المباراه هذه، لانه ان بغينا نعلق عليها راح تفوتنا المباراه اللي بعدها. بعد اكثر من 3 ساعات انتظار كامله دخلنا اخيرا في المباراه الاولى في الميجر كله، وهي مواجهه الفريق الكوري، اقصد الاسيوي، اقصد السعودي فالكونز.
Falcons! T1 fielder, one of the most legendary support lines in the game, and they'll lean on them for
ضد الفريق الفنلندي ENCE اللي تعرفنا عليهم مؤخرا. القانون الجديد هنا هو انه خريطة المباراة الاولى ما حد يختارها، تجيهم مختارة، وبعدها المهزوم مو بس يختار الخريطة زي ما تعودنا، انما يقدر كمان يختار حتى نوع المباراة، وراح تشوفون قائمة الاختيارات. غير كذا اذا في تعادل ما حد راح ياخذ نقطة، وراح يكمل اخر فريق انهزم يزيد يختار. الفوز هنا من 3، الفائز يتأهل لنصف نهائي دوري الفائزين، والمهزوم يسقط لدوري المهزومين. يلا ما نطول عليكم اكثر، جاي.
Finally, OWCS Major 1 kicks off. We've heard a lot of teams messing around with potentially, so it will be the Hanzo here at the start.
The loss of that true one-shot potential with the changes to health pools and projectile sizes doesn't seem to have, broken Hanzo's capability here. Proper on the Genji as well, always a terrifying prospect. And we will see ENCE look to try and set up around that Sigma to start with. Malga is back, just fearsome as ever.
Yeah, it's you see Stalker here trying to work down that Sigma shield as ENCE wants to kind of control this high ground. They want to kind of almost like bait Falcons into coming up on there. They feel like they win the fight in the long run.
They're going! What a Bionic catching from Field of Ghost! Couldn't do a darn thing about it already. Your Baptista's gone. Immortality Field? Never heard of it. And ENCE off to a rocky start.
Yes, they get kind of pushed off there through that high ground rather quickly there by Falcons. Is proper on the Genji, just gets into the back line. Now, we talked a little bit earlier today about how devastating that Kevster and Kai, the DPS duo, is there for ENCE, where proper and Stalker, I mean, that is a sick combo on the other side.
Vistola got himself some glasses, fair enough. Obviously that's Smurf's camera. Vistola's POV. Trying to take a little bit of space with a kinetic grasp here. Cardiac overdrive to lead ENCE astray. It's going to be Ghost getting tipped off yet again. The peak potential here from Falcons has been excellent.
And this is brutal because without the Baptiste, you can't kind of hold any position if you are ENCE, right? You need the immortality field, the just AoE healing capabilities. Lucio obviously not good enough to survive through any of that.
So what's the play into the Malga then?
I mean, it's quite difficult, right? You want to like slowly kind of like push up, take this high ground, right? Rotate these cooldowns that Stola has, whether it be the kinetic grasp or the shield, try and occupy that space.
Nano boost up here for Field of Smurf, going straight on in. He dispenses a Nano. Vistola gets caught. Pulse bomb was good though. Kevster comes alive finally, and these DPS ultimates are gaining some traction here for ENCE finally. Vasa no beat quite yet, but ENCE do need to get themselves touching the point. Stalker could be an issue. Bit of a threat. Dragon Strike available, but Falcons will give it up. It's a healthy enough lead.
Yeah, now I'm quite interested in where ENCE kind of sets up from, right? You have this Cassidy, kind of put that Cassidy up on that high ground. Stalker is so dangerous though, like you mentioned. Even just the kill potential, but also being able to burn down this shield, and then it's the go time for the Mog.
Sound barriers on both sides here. Expect this fight to be a little more drawn out. The Dragon Blade proper will not be relevant until Master has parted with that ability. Hang on, they managed to pressure Vistola down. This is going to force out an early sound barrier from ENCE. Dangerous now for them. Falcons hold on to it for a time. What? Where's the sound barrier? Geo!
Yeah, sound barrier, they use it a little bit earlier there in the fight. And I think they're just trying to like bully out Vestola to get that sound barrier out of Masa.
I thought they had the pick at least.
Yeah, and then they were going to back out a little bit. Like you saw Proper go down the below ground and then try and maybe use that blade. And for the first time, we're going to see Venture for this.
Yeah, of course, they really effective at playing a lot of these off angles. We've seen a lot of teams combine them with the Malga. See how it plays out once again. Vestola this time needs to avoid getting cut off the rest of the team, singled out. Cage fight available here for Smurf though, that's dangerous. Stalker's heading on in, Proper as well, doesn't even need the Dragon Blade to do some serious work here. Druidic Flux, he's not caught in it, he dodged it, and Proper's back. It's like he never left. And I don't know how you bounce back from that. ENCE get themselves at least in the lead. That's a dominant showing from Falcons there.
Yes, you try and use that flux and catch Proper in it as he's going into the back line with that nano and not able to do so. A lost fight anyway. You'd already lost 2 players before that. And like you mentioned, Venture, they're so strong in combination with the Maga that cardiac overdrive plus the shield that you build up while, you know, connecting those abilities in combination with each other. Very difficult to take out.
And Drill Rush gives them a really reliable escape a lot of the time here. Here it is, the case comes down. Smurf starting to blow them up. Kai found a Deadeye inside of it. Stalker though pops up, takes Kai down. Ghost also removed by the melee. That's 2 for the Venture. And Master is too far away to get involved. An attempt at a back cap here for ENCE, but that's going to be stifled now as Kevston will be forced back. And we're in overtime. The Tracer has to recall to try and keep the round going, but Proper wants to keep him at arm's length. The sleep is good. A stand man cometh. And Falcons should be locking this one down.
See now as we move into round number 2. Any kind of change
to combine with that engage on Malga. God forbid there's a cage match. That's when it gets even nastier. ENCE here don't want to play into that real hard flanker. They want to play pretty static around the Baptiste, around the Sigma. They are a death ball here and Falcons need to unravel them. Already our Asian number 2 sets up on the point here. Accretion gonna miss, and now it's an opportunity for Falcons to go forward. Immortality Field also taken down. Yes, a power play moment for Falcons. And Proper delivers.
This is just a clean sweep here from Falcons. They bring the Mei into the mix here for ENCE, right? They try and use a Mei wall there at the start and maybe split a player off, but by time, Proper, just a dash on in. He already takes out 1 player instantly. The Venture of Stalker there right after, so a really fast team fight there from Falcons.
ENCE here. Have to play up 1 score behind this Sigma shield. It makes them a little telegraph. As by design, they want to play pretty close together. Maybe an off angle taken up by Kai. Kempster actually makes the switch over to the Tracer. Does give them some flank pressure to speak of. This is dangerous though. Look at them ignore Vestola, who needs to double back now. Immortality Field down, Kinetic Grasp to eat up some of that damage. And yes, it holds Smurf, but Baby Proper has already gotten as the cat amongst the pigeons. That's another 3K for the Genji.
Like the Immortality Field comes out from Ghost, you already have like a player dead, and then there's another one that just drops right after. But you use it so early, then Falcons doesn't even really need to kind of commit to fight that as Proper pushes a little bit too deep there, gets taken out by Kai.
Maybe just a little bit more than he could chew, but it is a 50% total here for Falcons. Sound barrier up early for Chio. Might be an option here, especially to play off that Bionic Grenade. It's going to be an Immortality Field that has to be deployed just because of the Bionade. That's cheaply lost there for ENCE. Proper here coming from the backside. Sees Kev still over, realizes putting pressure on Vestola. Is paramount presently. Wait out the sound barrier. The Dragon Blade can be quite devastating, but they lose Fielder and Stalker. I think Proper may not have much to do here. Little stall for Smurf. He'll succumb.
That 3-player bio grenade from Fielder, they pushed in right after that. Immortality Field, sound barrier, and Matrix used there by ENCE just to be able to live and flip the point back. Is now Falcons, you come back, you have this blade, there's no sound barrier on the other side. You're probably still another fight after that from taking that FNAF, but still in a good spot to potentially make a play here.
Hold up here for Stalker.
The Vestola could land that big flux though, right? We saw him trying to kind of catch Proper in it before. He now gets woken up, that cage fight.
Some pressure coming down, shield up and into the back line goes Proper once more, the Dragon Blade. Yeah, finds 2, and the Immortality Field crucially removed first. And even in the face of Kai being able to find that Deadeye, there was no chance for Vestola to part with the Gravic Flux.
Yeah, and something that we talked about with ENCE when we did the interviews with them was that they wanted to kind of try and play the game at their pace. They felt that if they can get the game going in their pace, they would definitely swing in their favor. Where here at the start, especially on control, right, it's really difficult for them to kind of control that high ground, control that space that they would like to, as the pace has been completely set by Falcons.
Is this enough? Fielder goes down. The Gravitic Flux and follow-up there for Pistola. But the rest of the Falcons are standing still. Chio desperately trying to keep them topped up, and somehow Pistola gets brought down. Too focused on Stalker. Smurf finishing off the kill now. Kempster trying to control the point. Pulse Bomb delivered, but Falcons having to shrug it off pretty comfortably. Another cardiac overdrive for Falcons. And here's that overtime. Kempster's down. That was the only option they had to keep things going. And Tactic Peninsula goes to Falcons.
And that is a pretty clean sweep there from Falcons right here in the next map, which they'll be able to pick the map in game type, right? So a lot of different options for ENCE here.
Now bear in mind, the first map of the series is predetermined. So there's a ton of options here, remember?
A map that we are awesome on. So Circuit, yeah.
Okay,
so I mean,
great example.
This is a perfect example of Sigma.
On the Lucio. Some substitutions, RJ, of course. Coming in here, World Cup champion. No substitutions here for ENCE, so that's something that's on the day at the office for him. Circuit Royale, moments away, folks. Here, our second map in this series. Falcons already off to a hot start. But now, of course, entered the
Ash, Widowmaker, Sojourn in the mix. So ENCE, they will be on offense to kick things off as team.
The ability to yank someone out of trouble should they need it. Quite critical here. Defara, it's the same, I guess, concept as you use it on Iconbolt defense, right? You can get a lot of good damage while staying out of line of sight. Kempster, you're instantly switching over towards the Tracer, though.
Yeah, and the Sojourn's going to be good here for Kai to kind of like farm some damage on the shield from Convin, and then maybe try and land a rail shot on the Stalker, but the damage that Stalker is going to be able to put down, if we can kind of play from a pretty safe position, is going to be really difficult to live through.
You have good shield pressure from your Baptiste, but of course also your Farah. Those shots are just going to be aimed at that corner. So a lot of splash damage, and it's going to be a little frustrating for the Stolen to actually set up a staging ground here. Proper, on the other hand, can play quite safely, but already you see Falcons giving a bit of ground. It might be the pressure from Kempster forcing them to reposition.
Yeah, and I think trying to position around this corner, right, it's much safer from Stalker to play from this type of angle, as that is a pedal that it looks like actually just gets elevated right off the rip there. Somebody who's standing right underneath it, put his place down.
Stalker getting these shots down, really needs to connect. Some consecutive damage to put that heal pressure down on ENCE properly. Light grip to draw Han Bin back. He's a little bit low now. The kinetic grasp being used by Pistola. He's very healthy for the time being. Card stalled up in the corner. Marcy hit by an accretion there, able to get back to his feet, but there's the Farah damage and the concussive shot. Takes Ghost down. Stalker can use these pedals to never have to give up altitude. Can play from a moderately high position at all times.
Yeah, they're using the pedal to get Stalker into the air first, right? Instead of using all the boosters.
And for long, yeah.
And that allows him to stay in the air for much longer. So a really interesting use here of the Life Weaver in the Farah combination from Falcons.
He hasn't used his actual rocket pack at all. He already has a little bit of height to work with.
And what do? I mean, you're not going to look up and try and get rid of the pedal, right?
Kai has to punish here, but it's also an awkward angle for him to work on. Here's a light grip into a Gravitic Flux. It's only Pistola going to be caught up in that one. So yes, he'll take half his health in damage. Amp Matrix here, Harvard have to respect it, but it's going to be a sound barrier coming out now. Stalker might choose this moment to go aggressive. Tree of Life pop down, and Proper finally is brought to heal by Kempster. The Tracer achieves its aim. And Chio also getting taken down now means you have little to work with his Falcons. Harvin trying to hold his ground, Marged for two. A super sub comes in. Point blank barrage comes out, but Pistola's going to catch Stalker inside the Gravitic Flux. That's two. Kaya with an important rail to bring down the menace that was Marged. And Falcons are forced back. The Zens have 4 minutes to play.
Yes, Marged gets two there, and it makes it really interesting towards the end. Rocket barrage there. But not enough damage as Pistola ends up taking out the Farah there. Quick turn. So look at this. So Falcons actually, they'll play a breakthrough. So break that back line. Now they'll have a Sojourn of their own. Stalker will just kind of move over and play that Farah. Okay, so Ana now in the mix. So a lot of changes here across the board. As for ENCE, right, you get Kempster away from the Tracer over to the Mei, as now they're going to play more of a rush.
This is why ENCE chose this map. This is where they want to find the biggest edge in composition. Nice accretion. Pistola trying to push up here after having to move away from that one. Here comes Kai though. Overclock really starting to leave a mark. The Maywall, though, doesn't prevent Falcons from backing up, but Proper still not able to get away. Chio on the brig has to shield bash away from that disruptor shot now, and Stalker will only play the off angle while he can. Falcons are trying to group up. They're trying to find a chance to come back in, but their Bionade isn't enough of a staging ground for them to get into this fight. They've been stifled, forced back inside the second part of the map here, and that checkpoint is just around the corner. Stalker has to dive in, but has zero support, and eventually Falcons must concede this stage. This is why ENCE want to play Circuit.
Yeah, they basically get second point there for free, right? They just one fight basically gets them all the way through that second checkpoint, which is massive. They push up Pistola, finding Proper there as they're kind of pushing up towards that choke is massive. Sojourn such a large portion of damage that the Falcons are going to put down, right? The Sojourn rails are really what's going to allow Stalker to get into that backline, finish players off rather quickly.
Falcons have to give up much of this stage pretty much straight away because they need to operate on this high ground. They'll drop down now as the car gets close to the corner. The Marjed really wants to facilitate a big moment for Proper. His Sojourn, incredible, world-beating. With an nano boost, even stronger. Here they come. May at the forefront now for ENCE, but they've lost Kai instantly. Stalker's able to get in there before the sound barrier can be activated. That's a problem for the European squad. Annihilation now. Stalker not too bothered by it. They want to try and burst Pistola down, but he's just so durable. Master sound barrier out of the picture. He's off the table. Stalker and Proper now combining the DPS, fighting the mark, and enter in an awkward position. Wrong side of the cart for a moment. Falcons finally strike back.
In terms of ultimates used, though, is that a fight that you're okay with if you're ENCE, right? You end up using your Ramatra ult, right? But you're going to switch anyway. You use Beat. The bad part is they don't use Blade, right, on the other side. But there were 3 ultimates used there by Falcons. I think the hardest thing will be Stalker with this Blade. How do you end up living on through this?
Marjed switches over to the Baptiste here. Stalker would love to get some purchase with this Blade, but it's always risky now up against the Baptiste. Goes a little low. Has to go for an immortality so early. Stalker says, righto, job done, gets out, Makai meets him in the door. That is massive. And look at Harbin getting caught out. Kevster does more than enough here. And this is dangerous now for Falcons. 2 minutes 23 still to work with for ENCE. They are blazing through the map.
Yeah, Proper uses the overclock, but can't really step up, right? There's that Blizzard in the way. And also there's an Amp Matrix there from Ghost. Is Pale getting very close to the finish line.
Stalker goes in, the Master gets cleaned up on a Swift Strike, and so there's a reset available and another one for Stalker. He's far from done! That's 4 for Stalker. Marjed gets involved as well. And that is a convincing defensive burst here from Falcons.
There's still loads of time left though, right? A minute 55. The cart basically at the end of the map. So looks like Stalker now will go over to the Hanzo here. Hanzo's just great to get those just log cross map, finish a player off, right?
Shield pressure's great.
Shield pressure's really good because I think what ENCE wants to do here is try and take this high ground control. You see them wrapping around, get this overclock, 1 or 2 picks, you drop down to the cart, you have a map completion.
It does mean they're going to butt heads at this choke a fair bit. So Stalker still having the ability to traverse up these walls, get onto the other side of them might be important. Disrupt the shot thrown out by Kai. They're going to come forward now. It's going to be an overclock here from the Brit.
Yeah, they try and get a Maywall there to kind of split some players off, also block that Amp Matrix, but everybody just kind of evades this for Falcons, so pretty nice there from
Massa
Falcons.
was licking his lips there, though. That was so close to the edge of the map! He was looking for an environmental. That's risky business, Massa. He's a slippery succulo, hard to catch, but eventually Storm Arrow will find him. And it's Lucy. Stalker able to stave off the threat of Lucio. Yep, that is a very dead Baptiste. Pistola, make sure of it. Rally low for the rest of Falcons. Harbin also has a flux of his own. Falcons are in a pretty decent spot defensively, and they bring down the Sigma. They'll concede the high ground for now, but Harbin has no intention of giving it up for good.
So you lose this fight here. If you're ENCE, you're going to have another opportunity here.
Not so much time now.
Yeah, no, not. I mean, that takes so long to develop, right? At that choke, you're just kind of playing that Sigma poke damage game there. But here's the positive for ENCE, right? You get Pistola now on the Ramatra. You can get really aggressive behind the sound barrier. You have an Amp Matrix of your own, and you have this Blizzard, which was good for a fight win the last time.
Final fight comes up now. ENCE have to make this Blizzard work.
Like you wanted to wall off this top high ground there.
You want them to drop down. Get value out of the beats. Make sure you're playing close together. And still a little bit caged though, because Harbin steps up to the choke and they know he still has a gravitic flux. Here's a blizzard. Dragon Strike comes in for the high ground and immediately Kenster has to go into ice block. Flux though, this could be big. Kenster's in trouble. Held aloft and turned into a pincushion by Stalker and co. Proper now with an overclock. Immortality Field has to be deployed there, but it might just be too early and it might just be too late for ENCE. The wrap from Proper is good. Ghost has no chance of hanging around here. And ultimately Falcons bring ENCE to a screeching halt.
Falcons will need basically a full map. It goes all the way down to the wire.
Being able to find value from that sort of poke from Hanbin, that's a big deal. How do you feel about the Hanzo switch in the end? Does it have the impact you think, like merit and such? Out of the gates we go. Falcons here do have the fire still. No, switch off and also a brick for Chio.
Yeah, a little bit of a safer composition here from Falcons. Maybe a quick switch and swap back there from Proper as ENCE running with Cassidy with the Soldier, right? So this is just long range poke damage. I think the Cassidy's pretty good, obviously. It's almost like a defense mechanism for Kepser, right? The Tinder Grenade there.
Oh, that's not good! Well, you cannot linger out in his sights like that. Something like Proper's going to punish you 10 times out of 10. And ENCE don't even have the speed to fall back properly. They'd be lucky to get out of this fight without losing more players, man.
I mean, they just kind of hightail it out, right? They don't want to take any chip damage. Any damage there would have been a clear go sign there from Falcons. Get like a Stalker with a dash into that back line as he's already putting some pressure on a Kepser here. If what comes down is looks like Falcons now just positioned around this corner trying to take checkpoint A.
Stalker's playing the off angle here. Might be able to get around the shield again. It's Proper though finding Kai. He outranges Cassidy so effectively at that range. Immortality Field also out of the picture now. ENCE know they're just feeding themselves into the wood chipper, becoming glorified mulch to the flower bed surrounding this map.
And this is a bad sign for ENCE, right? These are the compositions that they feel like they are much stronger than Falcons are. Falcons obviously have to make some substitutions for players to come into play these types of compositions. And right there, so they just roll through them on that first checkpoint.
Out of the gates we come once more, and Celeste with an amplification matrix to play off of, but Falcons absolutely have the momentum here. Disrupt the shot, may allow Pistola to maneuver into a position to lead from the front, but this Falcons team are unlikely to give you much of an opportunity to breathe. Ghost again, really a baptism of fire for this player, getting caught up into the biggest of matches. Okay, air matrices on both sides. Gravitic Flux only catches Pistola. Oh, he's going to go down to this. It has to be an Immortality Field. Good timing from Ghost. Hold it for the right moment. Eventually, Harbin is able to remove it though. Steps ahead. Kinetic Grasp. Look at that bloody health bar. And Margin's able to bring Pistola down in the background. Sound barrier for ENCE. Not nearly enough. They are losing their grip on this map.
Oh my god. He barely even saw Masa there. Just turns with another railgun shot at the end. So just like ENCE, where they were able to just kind of like walk through up towards that high ground, that second checkpoint. Really Hanbin with that flux that opens things up. More than 5 minutes on the clock for essentially 92 meters left there for Falcons. This has been a bit of a speed run.
Stalker now has an opportunity to turn this Dragon Blade into something truly fearsome.
Well, right, they used Sound Barrier before, so you're just looking, can you catch him in a flux, potentially? We've seen it attempted a few times now, but not successfully.
They're pushing Stalker away from the accretion. I love the timing. Has to back away, but he's forced out the Immortality Field.
That was the flux as well.
Where did that go? Does he get interrupted? It's unclear. Falcons are still very, very healthy, and Stalker is satisfied just poking away, because all this time, the card is moving towards the end of the map with multiple players on it. ENCE have to take action. They surge out now onto the high ground, and they finally get their pick off on Chio. Speed boost from Masa has to have been instrumental there.
Yes, the fight gets really split there in that type of position. It's not entirely done. You're going to have Chio coming off of respawn. You do have the larger source of healing alive here for Falcons. That's going to be an Amp Matrix, but you lose Majet.
You still work with this though. Hanbin moves up with Flux. Look how low Pistola is, and he's already used the Kinetic Grasp. In fact, he gets ignored by the rest of Falcons during the duration. So no free health, no overshield. And here come the Falcons. Looking to charge down the door. 4 minutes in the game. That is ridiculous. Pistola switches to the Ramatra.
Rally, a Flux, and potentially another Blade here for Falcons.
He has Flux, dude.
Masa's going to have to try and live and maybe get a beat off here. It'll be Kai with an overclock from the high ground.
Immortality Field has to be used now, but in for a penny, in for the pound, says Kai.
There's the beat.
Probably not thinking much about his national currency right now. He's trying to stay alive in the game. Stalker here able to stay scarce on that low ground. Immortality Field's already gone, but it doesn't matter because there was enough of a window for Falcons to throttle ENCE. This one is over.
It's a ENCE map pick. They take us to Circuit Royale, the stronger on for ENCE. They still have Hanbin. They still have Proper on the other side. Sermagent comes in. You don't even play the Alarm. Played a lot of Baptiste. Yeah. Pretty much strictly only the Baptiste.
Oh, it was only
on the the Alarm, maybe in the spawn a little bit, but
very, very good. And you notice again how, like, you know, Genji just has, you know, a big job to step up to. I think he does really well. Like, in general, picked off quite often. Hanbin says can make something happen there.
What do you do map-wise now if you're ENCE? It looks like the Jet coming out of the game, it looks like you'll see Hanbin leave as well. Actually would have thought potentially.
But the fact that we are
seeing
seeing
the selection, get some damage down at range. So it'll be Numbani here. So Dimensional, they're just gonna put, you know, Smurf in the game and they're gonna be able to do just about everything. I mean, what you would say Smurf, I mean, you can
fire a comp by going for double hit scan to touch grass.
Yeah, it's a really kind of like a sane backline of Fielder and Chio getting back
for Ana from Fielder, which I do think has always sort of been a Fielder special.
What they probably feel like is the most
effective is number 2 from APAC. Yeah, it's found
an opportunity to capitalize on some of those things, make it a little bit even different completely.
Look, it's very reasonable here, that Sigma comp. The problem is there are some maps where if you are playing dive, you can just ignore the Sigma, head over his head, and he doesn't have exactly the best capacity to interrupt you, like, you know, with the Winston Sigma matchup. But I think in general, very serviceable tank. I feel like I haven't heard this music in absolutely bloody ages.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I was like, man, this is like Bala. Let's take a look here on defense in combination with turret form. The bad part would be, wheels mode, as you know, most people call it. A little round of applause there. You're really looking this Bay wall to maybe kind of split the Maga off. Looks like they're going back to spawn. I feel like the Echo would really destroy some of this. Right?
You can stay far enough out of Bastion's range to be pretty unbothered.
Send just stick bombs in, and you just kind of kite it when he's not in wheels mode. He's such an easy target.
Dempster wants to try and wrap around the outside here, whilst the rest of Falcons will be waiting. ENCE might look to take the more direct route already. The Tracer going to work with a bit of flanking, but Massa is taken down by the shoulder charge. An Immortality Field here for Pistola, but it gives him the window to take Proper out of the picture. And Kempster's still hunting, but he's done his job thus far. A lot of pressure going down on the defenders, but Proper still on the way back from spawn.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of pressure onto Smurf and not able to get a line of sight to be able to heal him there. So Fielder up on the opposite side, high ground. Some damage that comes down from ENCE. The Tracer's really powerful against this, right? Tracer's always been pretty good.
Echo.
Yeah, pretty good against the Echo, where Kepster, one of the best Tracers in the world, comes up with a few picks that kick things off, as that'll be a fast point A take for ENCE.
Yeah, a bit of life here, I think, for ENCE. Oh, sleep dart there catching on the Kepster, but obviously no opportunity for Falcons to follow. Cassidy as well, a constant threat to someone like a Genji, whose mag grenade would make it very hard for Genji to get out of the fight. Fielder gets picked off, so ENCE able to put together a bit of a stagger here and push up quite far. Space that the cart will soon fill.
And they go back to the Hanzo. So we saw Falcons do this early on in the series. That you know, when they see the Sigma on the other side, there was obviously a Venture in play earlier when they tried. You know, they tried Venture with the Genji. Now they actually go and they will play the Hanzo. So we've also seen this look a little bit easier at longer range. Hanzo also pretty scary for the Tracer.
Yeah, can threaten the Cassidy as well. Absolutely has him on range. Well, that damage fall off for Cassidy kicks in pretty quickly.
A lot of ultimates for ENCE.
Good defensive pressure for this Falcon squad. Proper going upstairs now to try and get Pistola apart with some of those cooldowns. And Kepster is always on the hunt, always on the flank. There's another swift strike in, so Proper must have seen something, an opportunity to go in. Look at those health bars, great pressure, already get a Mortality Field forced out of ENCE. Smurf does go down. Can Falcons turn this into something though? Oh, what a sleep. But there's no way to follow up with it properly unless Stalker gets involved. Kepster was lying prone, sleeping. Stalker's able to find the headshot. Also, Ghost missing means no Baptiste. But the Immortality Field got used already. That's 3 for Stalker. Chio gets involved, flattens Kai, and now it's just Pistola. It almost feels like a solo effort from the Hanzo here, Matt.
I mean, Chio and Fielder are so sick, able to live through that there as Chio gets right around the corner, helps Fielder stay alive. But, you know, Stalker, like you mentioned, some big damage there from that high ground. And it felt like for a while it was just both teams just kind of like posturing for position. So you get Smurf rather early, and I believe Smurf was actually nano boost at the time. So a huge kill there, just not able to convert into the point.
Our observers are like, there's no way we're missing any more of these Stalker eliminations. On deck with him. Big impact after switching. Sonic here reveals ENCE trying to set up on the high ground. Maybe give Cassidy some room to breathe. Some room to do work. Accretion, it's going to knock the Malga off the high ground. This could be problematic for Falcons. They have to give up that ground as well. They drop away. Nice little pulse bomb there. Smurf gets brought down as the Stoller confirms the kill. It's a gravitic flux, a big one. Sound barrier now here for ENCE. Kai is starting to feel that pressure, and Stalker's desperately clinging to life. A Dragon Blade, it's an option for Proper, but they've lost their back line, and the cart gets over the line.
Yeah, it's, they are really you know, making it difficult for Smurf on this Malga. It is not paid off in the same way that we saw in map number 1, right? They are able to run that Malga against the Sigma pretty much throughout the entire match with great success. This time, though, it's consistently Smurf being that first one dead in these fights.
Last phase of the map, 4 minutes to work with. Scenario that has played out many times before on this map.
This feels like a fight, though, where ENCE is just trying to, you know, build up some ultimates here to go into, you know, a next fight. Maybe a, you know, a win here for ENCE, essentially getting around this corner, having them use an ultimate or two on the other side, and then coming back with a better case in the next one.
Mano Blade, Proper going in. Oh, okay, nicely done behind the slam of the Malga. He goes. Immortality Field also assisting. Ghost was brought down. And Proper didn't have much to do, in fact.
Yeah, but that's to be expected, right? I mean, there was really nothing for ENCE to be able to use.
It's clean.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of nice there towards the end. But, you know, ENCE, they get that payload towards that corner, right? Now they come back with an amp matrix, right? They can kind of buy themselves some more space, then maybe get closer towards that flux.
ENCE want to move up. On this high ground with the Stoller at the 4. These hyperspheres are quite a nuisance for the defending team. Oh, they're going to push out themselves. Look at this. Look at the Malga. Straight to the low ground they go already. Immortality Field has been removed. And Massa was first on the menu. Ghost here desperately trying to get the rest of his team up. It's a beautiful sleep. And that is Stalker again going to work on the attackers. That's 2 consecutive fights. 1 here for Falcons. But the card. Gapster.
No way.
Not a chance. What a heist. You snooze, you lose!
What a play.
Second fight wins, but you heard the music kick in, right? Starting to realize, wait a minute, something is not right.
Yielded here on the Freedom.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit more flexibility and healing, and also some mobility. A Kempster tour showcasing that legendary flexibility is going to be a big problem for Proper.
And what's your thoughts on them going towards that lead? Like, I actually think the Malga was really not doing much there. You know, they were trying to kind of combo the Malga charge with the slam with some of the stuff that they were doing with the Genji, but they just couldn't feel like they could get it down.
I mean, again, that was a Suzu having to be used there to keep Smurf alive, but it works, that little window of invulnerability. Matt, I feel like the Falcons can really pile in a lot more effectively than they could with the Malga. Yes, they have less of those, you know, AoE bonuses, so these fights have to be quick. And that means that Immortality Field has to go early. But this is good. Proper now, giving a bit of ground. That pressure still mounts, but that Torp turret is going to be a constant nuisance.
I mean, this is going to be harder for Falcons to, like, navigate, right?
But they are that good, Matt.
But it is also Smurf on Winston, right? Where if they're trying to navigate this and make it work on the Malga, you'd much rather see him just trying to play the Winston, but it's a little bit less optimal because he's so good at it.
It's hard con to make work, but if any team are going to do it, it's going to be Falcons. Now ENCE, right, well, we have to defend here against this dive comp. Not the worst thing ever. A bit frustrating for Vastola to be able to heal adequately. So I like that ENCE look to take space and play this corner.
Yeah, Falcon's gonna have this Kitsune rush though, right? Kitsune rush with sound barrier here is that's gonna be the rush. Immortality Field use here with Amp Matrix here from Ghost, just trying to keep everybody out of this small room.
Oh, the sound barrier had to be there. Stalker trying to wrap around it with the Duplicator and the Tracer, able to take Ghost down. But Smurf, the tip of the spear, already snapped in two. Sound barrier plus Ant Matrix. It's very hard to break the bunker that ENCE set up.
Yeah, but you do have a spawn advantage here for Falcons, right? So every gonna be back here is you're not gonna have Ghost for a very long time, right? Numbani's second point is such a long walk back as it's gonna be a blade for Proper. He's gonna get 2. So this is just gonna stagger things out even longer here. So should be some nice progress here for Falcons.
Yeah, getting high also means that now Stalker can set up on the high ground, who can cross over to play the high ground, and will require someone from ENCE to go up and address that. It means that ENCE might have to risk splitting themselves to some degree, or hope that Kenta can just win the 1v1. You see what Proper's doing up here. Preying on 2 fronts now are the Falcons. One on the cart, one on the bridge. The guy has to duck back into the bubble. Smurf was waiting for him, absolutely flattened. Primal Rage going to work now on ENCE, and they've realized that grouping up was to their detriment now against this Winston ultimate. Ghost just couldn't get good coverage with an Immortality Field at all.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what they want, right? They get into that close quarter scenario. Damage down from the Winston, also the Genji, and then Stalker comes on through with the Echo, finishing players off. As so look at this. So ENCE actually will kind of make a change of their own. So we'll see a little bit of a Maga v Maga matchup here. As Stalker went over to the Hanzo quickly, but now going to go over to the Venture.
Sigma instead for Vistola. Stalker now, of course, Venture. They're very effective at wrapping through this left side room here. Always a nuisance in the back line, and always very threatening to a comp that doesn't want to be all-in against. Cardiac overdrive for Falcons, but it actually provokes ENCE to come forward instead. Kinetic grasp for Vistola means he's extremely tanky right now, and Falcons are happy to wait that cooldown out, even as Stalker wants to feign some potential aggression.
Just a lot of damage being taken by Falcons here as they're trying to push up here through this choke, but they're going to get both support ultimates off of this. It's going to be Rush here early on. It's going to be answered by Kai with a Deadeye.
Stalker now heading on in. Deadeye being used as sound barrier now for ENCE, but it's enough time for them to drag Smurf down. The heal pressure has been immense for ENCE, and that's been really the result of the amount of damage Kai can get done out from behind Vistola's shield and the Ant Matrix of Ghost.
I mean, I feel like this is good, though, for ENCE in the sense that I feel like when they have gotten Falcons to at least play the Malka on this map, right? Map number 1, obviously, Falcons end up winning with a composition that looks very similar to this. But here, at least on Numbani, they've actually done pretty well when the Malka has been out.
Proper paves the way here. That deflect allows him to create a little bit of space. Falcons move in behind it. Vistola already has that Gravitic Flux, so he might let this one go pretty early. He can guarantee good coverage at the moment, but Falcons eventually are going to start dispersing. They're going to look to flank. Stalker and Proper are going to try and take their own fights. Vistola might be looking to respond to Smurf's aggression, though, with that ultimate immediately.
They're looking for the Blade in the Flux. So with the Blade on the other side, no sound barrier, you're looking to get that with the Flux, and it doesn't even matter at this point, right? As you take out Proper, the Pulse Bomb, the Flux can be thrown on in there to get rid of Smurf. So feel pretty good about another fight win here. If you're ENCE, you're going to have a time bank advantage.
Wasn't even a stick there. That was just on the wall. Proper gets a little bit too close to it. You've got both your support ultimates available now. Vistola has to give a bit of ground. He knows that the cardiac overdrive's in play, but he doesn't have the speed to get away. So instead, stands his ground. Kinetic grasp and gives Kai the space to get that shot on Proper. That's big, and Falcons have to reset.
Yeah, but Falcons is going to come back with all 5 ultimates to use. Just can they get into an advantageous position, taking so much damage coming out of the spawn, you know, with the poke of the Sigma in the Cassidy at range, they've not been able to close the gap at all.
Feels like Falcons are starting to run out of ideas. This Malga venture setup not working. Stalker doesn't even bother with the ultimate, which is now over to the Hanzo.
Yeah, it's just a really odd place for the... Oh, that's a nice creation there. It's a really odd spot for the Venture to try and fight, right? There's not a lot of open area to kind of get a flank.
Great looks here from ENCE over the last couple of minutes. Falcons are down to 1 minute and 42 in the round. They have continued their rush build up once more. And yes, cage fight is there for Smurf.
Look at how far pushed up they are. Where they have to kind of like wrap all the way around here for Falcons is the older gets quite low. And with this high ground control, is looks like actually a full wrap here from ENCE. It's very difficult to get value out of the rush.
Oh, that's big! Kai, massive pick off. Stalker is down now. That Hanzo element for Falcons is missing, and they're on the wrong side of the map. They're trying to disengage now. Maybe the Consumer Rush can help them turn this fight around, but it's a little risky. Cage fight here, and down we dive with the blade. Everybody caught inside that. Pistola was held to the Master. Salberry's not going to help them. Rage in the cage for Proper. A brace of 4 and Kempster soon to follow. Falcons break through, and that is a bona fide 5K for Proper.
So we get another fight here though. 50 seconds, a lot of time still on the clock, but ENCE will get another opportunity out of spawn. Whole spawn from Kempster. It was huge the last time, but they lose both supports.
It might be too late. Falcons already found the opening to jump in. Stalker does fall, but Falcons still have a lot to work with. Plenty of gas in the tank. Recall there came out of Kempster. Reinforcements a little bit slow. It's going to be a Suzu deployed there by Ghost to try and keep Kempster in the fight. That's enough time for Master to return. What a boot! Straight off the bat. He's able to find elimination on Proper. Smurf now brings him down, but Falcons are starting to run out of numbers, and that would have been enough. Well, they don't touch the card. Up to 1 minute in time bank.
Yeah, it looks like Vistola got knocked back a little bit there, though, which
That could have been a hold there.
all the way out where that third point is. So
That's right.
Falcons up.
Hang on.
This is all out that high ground, right? So
Oh man, this is so all in.
you're trying to put a lot of pressure on that left side high ground.
There's no way they're going to play the Winston with this setup in hindsight here, but yeah, walk up the left, right? Demand attention. Proper first, deflect, create some space. Smurf moves in behind it, and he does it awfully quickly. Kai under pressure, has to back away, but great peel from
play by
Master.
Master,
Just
yeah.
brilliant from the Finn. No, it's going to be even up. Ghost does fall, but you've lost your Kiriko. It's just Chio to keep Falcon standing, and that is just not enough throughput here. Stalker's able to win that fight, but eventually ends turn on him. 22 seconds left to play. Falcons a long way from the objective.
Yeah, because for Falcons, you know the call probably there is that they've split off Kai's in a really difficult position. So Masa makes a hell of a play getting into a nice spot to be able to keep Kai alive.
Your ability to sort of stall overtime here, not great. You don't have a trace of just to sneak in there and recall away, so you've got to commit again. Fortunately, ENCE want to play on the point too. Probably gets caught out a little bit too far ahead of the rest of Falcons. Cardiac overdrive, and there's the shoulder charge in from Smurf, but Fielder is so low, so vulnerable, and Ghost is able to finish the job. This one is a matter of course now, as ENCE tie this one up, put a bow on it, instead of next day delivery. 3 minutes and 6 seconds to get 1 tick.
Just have to get 1 tick. 3 minutes on the clock.
This is composition cool. But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Those off angles for biotic grenades, but getting to play the Ana here in a more static context on point A. I don't think you'll be able to do that for the whole map. But again, against this slower Sigma composition, you don't have to worry too much about getting dove. Tracer will always be a threat though. Behind the Sigma, ENCE have a different way of trying to create some space. They don't have the Genji, but they do have the kinetic grasp to let them move up.
This is a little bit of scouting here by Kempster, getting an idea of where everybody's at as he goes around on a little bit of a flank. As
Dangerous.
Smurf dodges the accretion, pushes on in, cardiac overdrive already, and there goes the tank.
It's a great immortality field, another absolute banger from Ghost. Smurf there looked like he was in a position to actually isolate Pistola, but this is dangerous. The biotic grenade was played off so beautifully. That hit Master. None of that residual healing over time for the Lucio made him an easy mark. And now ENCE are in a little trouble, but a great accretion connects there for Pistola. Almost 1 tick, that's all that ENCE need. And they get so close. They're going to be reset though, as Falcons can set up once more.
I feel like Stalker hasn't missed on the Hanzo in these clutch scenarios, right? Whenever they lose a player or two, it always feels like the next thing in the feed is Stalker 2K on the Hanzo, as we will get another go here. It's already about, like half the time off the clock here for ENCE. So, although you did have a lot of time to start, I mean,
There's no way.
well, you got two more goes at it, right? This is maybe another.
Kai here with an accretion, I think. Well, no, some sort of stunt mechanic, maybe the sleep actually from Fielder. Immortality field down for Ghost, ENCE missing a player. They probably should reset. Here comes the Dragon. Ghost doesn't have the immo. He gets caught straight into the jaws. And with Kai, big remove by Fielder's Bionade here. ENCE have to scrap it out. You're right, they have one more good fight left.
Well, it gets scary, right? You're now kind of snowballing everything built around these 5 ultimates here for ENCE. As Kempster gets quite low. They can actually make it back towards that health pack with the dodge right there. So you do have like 5 ultimates. Do you decide to go all in on one fight? Do you decide to maybe split these up, give yourselves like 2 opportunities?
Here's the Dragon Blade now for Proper. Brings Master down, even the Amplification Matrix rather in play. It won't stop this guy. Another 3, but stunned in midair.
Was that the beat as well from Masa?
Pistole's won. He's won. And he's sent over the map by Chio. 35 seconds left to play.
All right, so Deadeye here, if they get aggressive, right? You can use that Deadeye, maybe kind of get 1 is kind of what you're looking at there. Smurf with a cage fight. You could see like a cage fight combination with like a biotic grenade, right? You know, get a few players locked in there. So, this is all, you know, coming apart here for ENCE.
Up they go once more. Gravitic Flux here might be part of the solution for ENCE. Accretion hits Smurf, but here comes Proper dashing in. Would love another big fight. Featuring the kill feed. They're going to catch him with a cage fight. Immortality field, though, doesn't affect the people caught in the cage. And that's Pistola going down. Well, we spoke into existence, folks. Falcons have achieved the draw on Numbani.
So that is crushing their scenario. They needed a pretty epic backhand.
With the 3rd map pick in this series, which is technically impossible unless you have a draw. So I think, again, at the very least.
Yeah, so I mean,
It went with... Okay, it is going to be Suravasa. So going to Flashpoint, I mean...
they'll keep running on, you know, with Smurf infielder in the game. So wild that you have a team that you would even think about taking out a Smurf or a fielder, but...
It's to stay alive in this series, and it's a map that might be somewhat uncomfortable for them here. They want to bring that Sigma composition in. Fair play. It means they get to leverage that Baptiste.
Yeah,
Falcons with the Malga honor.
When I look at this setup, for both of these teams, I think the real deciding factor for ENCE, in the thing that can help kind of turn the tide for them, is Kevster's Tracer. When they were winning fights in this type of head-to-head matchup, it was really his Tracer that was giving Falcons problems. When they don't have to really worry or respect that Tracer in the backline, that allows Falcons to just take control of the game.
Proper here. Won't be allowed to just inhabit his high ground for free, but he's happy to pay for it.
So dangerous.
Deflect there. Can he get him out of dodge? No, a little overextended there. Eventually head to turn in his direction. But Stalker with Storm Arrow is able to find a headshot on a Tracer, of all things. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and the pressure Falcons applied gives them the point to start. They've lost Smurf, though.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're going to be able to kind of like hold serve on the point, right? Without your Malga in the mix. They still have Vestola coming out with that Sigma, so you will get the point flipped rather quickly. Falcons probably, it's a little bit of a shame you're not able to hold that there, right? Because Stalker on that high ground setup with point control and the Hanzo could have been really difficult to break that.
Pressure on Smurf, the Doomfist, tough ask, but is able to bring it in and trade out with the Sigma. Fielder does well, brings down Ghost as soon as that Immortality field is missing. Falcon should be able to move back in, re-establish some presence, but catch some out of other plans. Kai got pressured pretty heavily, he's able to heal up though. Fielder feeling the burn now from Kevster. Gio though is indomitable. What a sentinel! Kevster and Masa brought down one after another.
Yeah, even though you did lose Smurf rather quickly there, it was still a 1-for-2 trade, right? You still get 2 kills off of the back of the aggression off the Doomfist, so still have Smurf playing the Doomfist yet again. We saw for like a brief second, maybe in Spawn, I know in the previous map, and then a swap as both teams just kind of swapping back and forth throughout all the tanks. But now at least we see it out the Spawn door here on Suravasa.
Nano boost here for Fielder. Stalker's Dragon Strike may be relevant if ENCE get baited out onto the point and can't really break away.
Do you nano the Genji here? Do you nano the Doom?
He can build Blade off the Nano, I think. Transition into it. And Matrix comes in, but Smurf is only subject to 1 shot before he plows straight through it. He's low though. Nano boost keeps him durable enough, but he didn't find anything on that foray into the enemy backline. So Falcons will get close. Within striking distance of that first flashpoint and ENCE wrench it back under their control.
Yeah, it's a team kill there for ENCE off the back of Moss's Sound Barrier. Sound Barrier and Amp Matrix there.
Carry switch.
You're gonna have the Blade here available here for Falcons. So Blade potentially in place to close this point out, right? A point flip would result in Falcons taking this first flashpoint.
Falcons have to be quick about this, but they have the Sound Barrier advantage. Keep an eye on that. Dragon Strike for Solar should be able to sidestep this, but will be heads into a corner, and that's what you want to do to a Sigma. Surround him, bring him down with sheer weight of numbers, and we'll have a flip of the flashpoint back in the Falcons' favor. Now to the back line, Sands, Blade, proper still, sharp as you like. The Shuriken's going to work. Ghost will be removed, and Kai has no support, no space to work in. Still hits the shots though. Kovacs Kai rears his head once more, but it's going to take more than that. Gets the boot as soon as he touches down, and Kai's too low to intervene. That'll be a first flashpoint. And a posthumous kill there for Kai.
Yeah, I guess the benefit for ENCE there, right? Obviously, you end up losing that flashpoint. They do end up using just about everything there, does Falcons, to be able to put the point back in their favor. It allows ENCE to come back into this next fight. You're halfway towards that Ant Matrix, but you got Pulse on Deadeye and a Gravitic Flux, where you didn't kind of like waste those. Kind of throw that good money after bad there towards the end of that point.
Costello wants to move up here, a little chunked down, so it's going to take a moment. Kevster wants that off angle early, but probably takes a Hanzo shot from somewhere. The Deadeye for Kai, that's a decent way to make some space. You combine it with a Flux, that's a lot of ultimates just to move up here. Let's hope it doesn't bite them in the rear. Smurf touches down in enemy territory and quickly is dispatched.
Yeah, Meteor strike and then tried to like land on top there and then kind of slide down, give himself a little bit of extra cover, but no position that he's able to keep himself up in as things will still change here as the Falcons, it'll be Smurf now on the Winston. So, okay, just kind of run the gamut of tank.
You got to pressure the Cassidy, ignore the Sigma. That's the plan.
The solo low.
Getting a lot of attention now that he's low, but Smurf took a ton of damage up there. That's the Ant Matrix, making it hard for Winston to do his thing. Pulse Bomb doesn't quite connect though, and probably got a chance to be a part of this fight. But that Ant Matrix is a problem. Look at the Baptiste involvement in those kills. Falcons couldn't find a way around it.
No, they just kind of dive on into it face first. So end up losing the fight there as they try. Smurf takes
all else fails. Venture
Yeah, Smurf takes so much damage on the way in. They use a Kitsune Rush, still not able to keep anybody up. This Masa this time keeping that sound barrier for that blade, where some of these ultimates that ENCE had at the beginning of this point led them to have a chance to take it here.
Here comes Proper pushing up. Blade at the ready. You know he's ready to make use of it. Brief stun there, though. Still having to get involved in the fight. He's going to be behind the Cassidy. Sound barrier now. He's going to wait it out. Pressuring Kai down. Half HP for the Cassidy, and here comes the rest. The backup is good. Shoulder charge from Smurf to clean up the kill, and now the Immortality Field is out of the picture. Can't get involved, but that's not what you want to see. Proper over the edge. It's Smurf now to try and hold on, but Stalker coming in from the back line. Oh, it's a mutual knockdown with the Pulse Bomb. But I don't know if Stalker has much to do here. Gustavo's too tanky.
Yeah, but Stalker can end up building some of the shields, right? Gets a little bit more help, gets the Lucio back in the mix, so they're going to be okay here for just that brief moment of time. Well, Visola can't exactly push up into this just yet.
And the Lucio off respawn is so big. Stalker gets to set up now. Again, this invulnerability window is huge for Stall. Stalker emerges. Off-angle Deadeye here as Kai steps up. Inexorable it feels, but he's going to get slammed. In comes the Maga with the stop, but Proper gets caught out by Masa on the periphery, finding a key kill on the Genji. It's back and forth, but Fielder is missing now. It's up to Chia to do most of the healing. It looks like ENCE have this point locked up. And so it comes to pass.
Yeah, they walk on in. Fielder was incredibly low. Couldn't exactly play aggressively on the point with the Kuriku, and that allows him to just kind of burn down Smurf as that'll be ENCE tying it up here on Suravasa.
Oh, you want to hear this?
One apiece now. Stalker with that ultimate generator. The Kitsune Rush just around the corner for Fielder. They can also take an advantageous position here. Playing through the chokes. In comes the Malga. Proper takes a licking damage-wise, and here comes that rush to Void straight away. Stalker going to be popping on him as well, but needs to work around that shield. This is one way to do it. Drill Dash actually used here early, so no escape. Stalker's still going to be in the mix. Nicely done, and ENCE get caught in that choke.
The dive really strong there from Falcons, getting Proper and Stalker into the back line. So Falcons will take this point first off the back of the Kitsune Rush. Really nice. I think it's actually going to call ENCE out of the way there. As,
I saw the Moira switch for a second.
Yeah, no, but not going to see Ghost move off of that teeth. He's going to stay on that. The Moira swap probably just get a little bit further up.
In we go, Smurf closes the gap, shoulder charge gets in there, but he backs away. Sees the flux though. Stalker's able to avoid it by being subterranean in at that juncture.
Catches Smurf.
He gets away though. Malga unperturbed by the flux. Kept her a little low here, but Stalker gets caught. That accretion! perfect start from Vistola. Smurf has to try and get involved now. Cage fight thrown down, 3 players caught inside of it. This could be absolutely nasty. Will it blend? No, not for now anyway. Oh, Kempsey gets caught by another pulse bomb, and here comes Proper. Food processor finally does its job.
And it feels like that was like an opportunity for ENCE to flip this one in the sense that you already had Stalker down. The cage fight comes down, and it's sound barrier there for Falcons, and you're like kind of living on through it there for ENCE. You don't even get to use your barrier to kind of combat that blade on the other side. So now it'll be difficult. It'll be Kempster gets a touch.
Great call for Kev. He's able to keep the round alive at the very least. Enough time for Vistola and Co to come in. Aggression, no connection there. Maybe on Proper, in fact. But he isn't followed up on. Kai's forced away. Not a great angle to make use of the Deadeye. Kieran behind the pillar. Will the Falcons hide? Deflect expires though, and Proper gets caught out in the open. Fielder a little bit too low there, despite the Kitsune Rush being deployed. Falcons throw a couple of ultimates in there and don't have the ability to close the round and stay alive on this flashpoint.
And they hold on to their Ant Matrix here. So pretty strong for ENCE being able to kind of really just kind of play around Kai. The Deadeye there, it ends up taking out Proper. I think he just kind of mistimes it in terms of thinking it's going to wear out, has the deflect, not able to get around line of sight on the pillar they were kind of playing around at the moment. So now Falcons comes back. They're going to be walking right into this Ant Matrix and that Rabbinic Flux.
Now, like you mentioned, Falcons have a bit of a junk fight here, but you don't really have to buffer for too many of those.
Flashpoint, they go so fast. There's really not, a ton of junk throwaway fights.
Stalker has to navigate the Sigma shield to find value with that ultimate. They're wrapping around again. Falcons trying to outmaneuver. Here's the sound barrier. Immortality field used awful early in this fight, and Stalker creates a little bit of space. That ultimate knocks ENCE away, forces them back. Now it's going to be Vistola surrounded, but no one's really looking to do damage to him until now. And that's the finish. Smurf gets the job done. This will be another flashpoint for Falcons. Looking to take the series away here.
Yeah, and Stalker actually trying to kill Vistola there, but kind of the blow through damage actually takes out Kempster as he's coming around the backside there by the staircase. And they use that sound barrier, they get so aggressive behind the Venture that they get nothing with that Ant Matrix. They just get pushed up so far away and not able to make any use of it.
It's a 2-1 score here on Suravasa as we head over to us a 4th flashpoint. Rabbinic Flux in hand for Vistola, very critical against this Falcon squad.
This first fight on this point could really decide this. It's a cage fight. It's really early.
They got Kai. They got Kai. Immortality field has to be used, but how does Kai stay alive? It's a sound barrier from Master instantly. Proper's in the Flux, gets dropped down low, but who's looking at him? Turns out Vistola has eyes for the Genji. Proper stays alive, but the Kiriko healing's not there at all. He is so low. He got topped up just to 100 here, and eventually he drags the Sigma down. There was no support for Vistola. The fight's still happening on the high ground. Vistola thought he could drop down, find the Genji pick. It doesn't work out that way at all. And that's devastating for ENCE.
It is so difficult to like the Tracer, the Venture with the Genji and the Rico. They're so slippery in terms of being able to try and track them down, right? So, right there. I mean, that is a huge pick. As Kai takes out Chio. Chio just playing a little bit close to that corner. The double ding there from Kai ends up taking him out. Is maybe he can make something out of this. It would be huge.
Yeah, Falcons looking to play off the point for the most part. They committed a Kitsune Rush here. Will this make up for the lack of Lucio? It might just. Proper now pressuring Kai down from behind. The Shurikens come in. No chance for the Cassidy to make use of Deadeye whatsoever. And then lost the Genji. Falcons got Chio picked off at the start of the fight. And they showed barely a break in stride.
Yeah, when the Kitsune Rush comes down, right, you use the Deadeye to try and deter the players from kind of moving on through that rush. Kind of force them into different areas of the map, and Falcons does not care. Cardiac Overdrive, they push right up. It does not matter to them. It's, they take out time really fast. This will be a blade from Proper. A little back half here from Kempster.
It doesn't matter what Kempster's doing. He's trying to back cap here, and that's all well and good, but eventually Falcons will return.
Yeah.
So cheeky though. He might have kept ENCE in the game. It's a long walk back for ENCE though. I want to make that clear. Their odds of getting a proper 5-on-5 fight aren't great. It's going to have to be Kempster stalling now out in the dying moments.
Triggers ENCE.
They got him. They picked him off now to 5v4. That's what I mean. You can't get a full fight. And a no touch. Look, it was a big ask anyway. But Falcons eventually come up with the answer. To be fair, it was to a question they didn't pose. 3 maps consecutively chosen by ENCE, and eventually Falcons figure it out.
Realistically, this probably should have been a 3-0. I mean, it was a 3-0, right, in a sense, but like it should have been over on Numbani. Falcons was in complete control throughout the series. It never really felt like it was in doubt.